Perfect. Thank you.
So sort of just basically, first and foremost, I want to talk to people about why we are doing a revolution around financial education.
Mm-hmm.
It is important for us to start talking about how financial education is important for people to get financial independence, because nobody can get truly to be free if you don't have financial freedom.
That's true.
We say that starts with proper financial education. These are things that they don't teach in school. And how do we begin to now make that, mainstream? So I'm working with an organization where we have a platform where we're teaching people how they can become their own money managers, where people can understand that they can be proactive about their money and understand how they can be, better in the future. There's this education program. This is what I wanted to teach people about when I said I wanted to do that mentorship program. These are the courses that, we sort of talk to people around with our financial foundation education program. So if I were to ask you, Sandra, I know you work with a university, but if you were to go through, that same uni or a college and all of these things will be taught to you, what do you think about all of these different topics that you see here?
I think it's actually, okay, so cash flow. These are actually very good topics to discuss.
So these were the things that I wanted to talk to people about during that session that I said I wanted to run for JCI Toronto. But unfortunately, we couldn't get that going. So I've been thinking about how can we get more information out? If somebody, I read finance up to master's level, and none of these things around personal finances were taught to me in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have this organization that I work with where we're teaching people both in the US and Canada. So let's say, for example, we look at September schedule right now. This is Canada.
Yeah.
We have daily workshops, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every week of the year, nonstop, every day of the week, 52 weeks in a year, 5 days in a row, every blessed week. For the last 6 years, we've been doing this.
Oh, wow.
And then on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, we have 3 different sessions. Why do we have that? People who go to work at night can be able to enjoy the morning sessions / early afternoon session. People who go to work during the day can look at the evening sessions to attend. Workshop number 1 talks about building savings and wealth. Workshop number 2 talks about how do you increase cash flow and manage debt. Workshop number 3 is talking about preparing with proper protection. Workshop number 4, talking about how do you understand asset accumulation strategy. Number 5 is talking about how do you fulfill your long-term goals. And then the last one talks about how do you preserve your wealth and then, your estate. These are the things we want to teach people. And the funny thing with all of this is, if you wanted to teach this in school or you want to go to a program in school to learn about all of these things, it's going to cost you money.
A lot of money.
But here it's complimentary. You don't have to pay for it. You just need to find 1 hour every day and join the session via Zoom and then just listen to better yourself.
Seriously, you don't pay for that?
No.
Oh, wow.
So these are the information that I want to bring to people in our community, because it is important that we get people to see all of this, right? But more importantly, this is where I'm going to. As an organization, right, we decided we want to have people that are going through this. Our vision is to be able to reach 30 million people with our financial literacy campaign. And I want to show you that we have a counter that is counting the number of people that are going through this educational process. We want to be able to reach 30 million financially educated people by the year 2030. As at right now that I'm talking to you, we are 2,018,622 people that we've reached with this education already. But I thought about something. I'm thinking, how many of my own people are in these 2 million people?
Maybe 10%.
Not up to, if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow. I'm even generous.
Right? How many of our own people are in this space? How can we take this to people that are, like us? Because all of this information are things that I believe that people need to understand. And that's why, Last year, when I started, putting more effort into this, I left my 9 to 5 and I decided I wanted to concentrate on this and just face it fully because I believe it can work for each and every one of us. So I want to take a moment to first and foremost share with you what we do. There's a video that will play just for about 2 minutes or so.
Okay.
Let me know if you hear this now.
Yeah, I can hear it fine.
Okay. So, that video just basically summarizes what we do as an organization. But more importantly, what we're trying to achieve is how can we, in the financial services industry, how can we build a new industry with financial education? The reason why we do this is because of the things that we've seen with challenges across the entire of North America. According to surveys and research that have been done by the government of America or Canada, there are a whole lot of things that are happening here that many people don't pay attention to. For example, in Canada, there's a statistics that says that 1 out of every 4 person would have to borrow money to be able to buy food or pay for their daily expenses. 1 out of every Canadian doesn't make enough money to cover their monthly expenses. The story is not so different in the US. Almost 80% of the people in the US says they are feeling financial stress. 62% of people in America carry debt on credit card month on month. 37% of people have maxed out their credit card. 27% don't even pay their bills on time. Many of us don't want to be part of these statistics, but these problems are things that we see around us with so many people in our communities, especially in our own Black community. I'm biased. I would not even apologize for it, but I want to be able to do something better with that. Because it is an irony that we all left our base in Africa and came to this part of the world, living in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but many people are still having money problems.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to work hard all their lives, but they're still going to retire poor, sending their children to school with student loan and all those kind of stuff. So what exactly is going on? I want you to look at this slide very well, Sandra. Can you see the purple line? Very down. How thin it is. That is where 50% of the population in North America is. And the bulk of that 50% are people like you and I of the same color. That is where income gaps for people in 50% of the country, both the US and Canada, looking at North America's space, Canada and US together. The yellow part is where people like you and I would be. Okay, maybe we'll make more income than those people that are in the 50, but we're still part of the 90%.
Yeah.
Those guys in the top 10% are the ones that have the highest of incomes, and they're the ones that are controlling the wealth of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that the majority of the population owns the minority of wealth. That tends to ask, a very good question. How is it that the rich people continue to grow rich while the average person continues to go poorer? There was something that was done by Credit Suisse. They look at where the millionaires across the entire world is. America is top on the list, but look at where Canada is. Canada has about 1.7 million people who are millionaires, accounting for about 3% of those people in the world. Why is it that you and I are not one of them? If we look at the number of millionaires in that space, I don't think I will see many people that look like you and I in that space.
Nope.
So the question is this: where are millionaires everywhere? The truth of the matter is, you may have somebody who is a millionaire that is living next to you that you don't know. Many of them are not celebrities. They are not fancy people. They are not people that inherited something, but normal average human beings like you and I, who over time, with understanding of so many concepts, knowledge, planning, and consistent practice, they built their financial future.
Yeah.
Then it begs the question, what is it that the rich people do know that the poor
we don't know? Mm-hmm.
What we do know, though, is that the poor people will understand what it is that they do. Bad habit and poor decision when it comes to finances. Many people don't have any budget for what they want to do. They just spend money. A lot of people don't have any goals that they are working towards, maybe like retirement, college education for their children, or any sort of healthcare. It is the poor people that have the most expensive taste. They drive the biggest of cars. They drive, they live in the biggest of houses, where the designers of this world. Many of them are in our community, and they are doing it on credit, using line of credit, debit is not what they think about. They're just basically creating debt and all of that. When they work, they use the money to pay off the loans. People do not prepare for any emergency. Somebody loses their job like this,
and they are done.
Right? People don't prepare for any emergency. Somebody is sick, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's mainly that people are working from one paycheck to the other. Just basically working for a living. Just give me 1 minute. I need to pick this call.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Phil.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, sir. Yes, we are back. I'm back in Canada now. Yes, she told me already. I'm going to take care of this time.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Let me stay 20 minutes. So it's all about
So does that mean that I have the entire of the 40 minutes? Because I was supposed to have 10 minutes before. Now I have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
If you could have some of your teammates.
Nope. Okay.
Another 5 minutes from 10 before you give them strong closure, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
So, your expansion,
Sandra.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm supposed to be doing
okay.
a session for a group of people later tonight, and the person canceled, so they wanted me to fill in for someone.
Oh, okay.
So, like I was saying, people are working from one paycheck to the other. They don't have any form of, planning for the future. And then lastly is that people are just basically working. They're not even interested in their financial future. As an organization, what we're planning to do is to say there is a time for us to make a change in the life of what you're doing. So we want to talk to people about financial education because, my dear sister, the future is not in the hands of the government of Canada or the United States. Well,
Never.
not in the hands of the people that employ us, especially given what has happened in the last 2 years with COVID. So many lost their jobs thinking that they will never be able to, that's not something that will ever happen to them. A lot of people don't understand what is going on with their finances. They rely on their bank, on their brokers to be able to put things in place for them. So we want to talk to people about the fact that they need to put their future in their hands. How can people control how they make money, how they save money? How do they accumulate the money that they are saving, and how do they protect the money that they've made over time? We want people to go through our financial education program so that when they become educated, they can become their own money managers. Because once people understand how money works, they can begin to make the money to work better for themselves. And that's what we need in our community. So we want to teach people about how do they build strong financial foundation. See, if you want to build a house, you call architects, you ask them to put things in together, you have a drawing first. You must know exactly how the house is going to be before you start putting the foundation and laying the bricks and then putting the pillars together. Is that correct? Many people don't understand how that works with finances. For you to build wealth, you have to understand how you build. And how we build is first and foremost understanding how do you lay the foundation and then put the carcass on it. It's just like building a house. The first thing people need to do is to put proper protection in place. In the event that there's disability or there is health challenges or even premature death, we don't want to see GoFundMe or any of those crowdfunding, apps all around. When I see that, most times I see it in our own community. I don't see it so much in the Caucasian community. How can we help people to understand that? We want people to reduce their debts and totally become debt-free at some point. In terms of debt, we have a lot of it in our community. People are passing on debt from one generation to the other as against passing on, blessing from generation to the other. We want people to understand how to build emergency fund and eventually build investment, just like building a house. Building it from ground up is what we want people to understand. And all of this is what we teach people with our financial education program. Why are we doing what we're doing? We want to move many people away from financial insecurity to the point where they become financially secure. But more importantly, we want people to become financially independent because that's where things get better for each and every one of us. And how does that work? The first thing is to talk about proper protection. Imagine this lady here. She's in the rain, but she has an umbrella. As the rain is falling, she's protected from this water. Yes, she might get wet on the feet and all of that, but the entire body is not going to be soaked with water. So how can we talk about this in finances? How do we protect our income? How do we protect our health and then other assets that we have? What do I mean by protecting our income? God forbid somebody were to, sick today and the person cannot go to work. Do you think the landlord or the utility company will say, hey, Biodun, BC, because you are not feeling well, don't worry, when you get better, we'll come back to come and collect our...
No, they don't care.
If somebody were to lose his or her job out of disability or sickness or anything whatsoever, do you think somebody is going to say, don't worry, you'll pay later? No. So here is how do we make sure that people in the Black community do not get to the point where things happen and everything just goes, down the street from there. How can we help people to get out of debt quickly? And when you look at this concept that I want to talk about here, this is what I say. For people in our community, even if there is nothing else that you take away from this presentation, you can help a lot of people with this slide that you're seeing here. I want you to look at this part. I'm going to do annotation. Can you see the pointer? So
yes, I can see it.
This person has mortgage, bank loan, auto loan, MasterCard, home improvement loan, and credit card. Everything is around $400,000. These are the interest rate on it. Minimum payment on a monthly basis, this is what that is. And that means this person will pay $27.82 on a monthly basis. Many people, as long as they can work and get paid to pay this, they are okay. They think life is good. But how can we help people to understand that this is not where we want people to be? We want people to get out of debt and get out of it quickly. So, Sandra, we say, can people find extra $100 on a monthly basis to introduce to their debt repayment scheme? How is it to get $100 extra on a monthly basis for people? I mean, I think it's easy, because when I look at many people, every day they go into Tim Hortons to go and buy coffee or tea or something like that in the morning. Let's assume that they spend around $3 or $4 on a daily basis every day. That is already more than $100. Can we tell somebody like that to say, okay, go into Walmart, go and buy coffee, and then brew your coffee before you leave your house? The money you are giving to Tim Hortons every day, let us concentrate it on how you can pay off your debt. Yeah, the taste is different. I agree. Coffee is coffee in the long run. So imagine that this person decides to introduce $100 into it. Instead of paying $10, add $100 to it and pay off that credit card. As against paying it off in 19 months, if you are paying minimum balance, that thing can be paid off in 2 months. However, do not spend the 110 now that is free. Roll it over into the next month. Instead of paying $50, pay $160 because you're going to add 110 to it. You can pay off that home improvement loan in 10 months as against paying it off in 38 months if you are paying the minimum balance. Roll the $160 into the next month. Pay $280. You can pay off that MasterCard in 19 months as against paying the minimum balance, and it will take you 33 months to pay it off. And then continue to do the same thing like that for the remaining number of loans that you have. Now, $100. What this person will be paying on a monthly basis is now $28.82 as against $27.82. But let's look at the significant difference that $100 will make in the life of that person. Before, that person was going to use about 30 years of his or her life to pay off the entire loan. But because of that $100 introduction on a monthly basis, that person has saved almost 13 years of his or her life. Now imagine that this person can concentrate $2,882 into an investment into the future for the next 13 years. What do you think that life of that person will be like? After that, we talk to people about emergency fund. What if you lose your job? What if your car broke down? What if you have an emergency with any of your appliances at home? Is this something that you have money saved aside that you can deal with? Or that's the end of everything? You have to go back into borrowing money again to be able to live. Many people don't think about this. And then lastly, we talk about investment as the last pillar of building wealth. I'm going to show you an example of how somebody who thinks about this starts early in life and builds something for themselves. Imagine a 30-year-old person, male or female, does not matter. The person earns about $60,000, which is around the average salary that a normal person gets in this part of the world. And this person thinks about, saving 10% aside. What I hear mostly from our people is, BC, where do you want me to save money from? I mean, by the time I pay everybody, there's nothing left. How do I do savings? And I say to people, the reason why you don't have is because you give everybody your money before you think about yourself.
Pay yourself first.
What you have to do is pay yourself first. Because if you are not alive, if you are not doing the work, all of those other people that you are paying will not have anything to get. You are the one that is working, they are the one that is benefiting. You have to benefit yourself first before you benefit others. So let's say this person decides to keep 10% of his or her income, and then religiously, with discipline, consistently practicing keeping the money aside. If it's 8% over a 30-year period to age 60, that person would have kept aside $745,000 with compound interest. If it's at 10%, that person would have kept aside over $1 million. By the time this person gets to age 60, still not at retirement of age 65, just thinks, oh, instead of putting more money, I don't want to put money again, but I want to reinvest my money so that it can grow into the future. At that 8%, that money will double in 9 years to about 1.5 million. At that 10%, that money would double to about 2.3 million at 67 years of age. This is how so many people in the Caucasian space, the Jews, the Koreans, the Chinese, all of those people have built wealth over time. With constant understanding, practice, and conversation. Many people don't understand how taxes work. Example of how taxes work are in 3 different places in Canada or in the US. Whatever account you are putting your money in, it is taxed today. If it is a tax now account. If you put in a tax later account like RRSP and annuity and the rest of them will be taxed at a later date. And then tax advantage account are all there. Question is, do we know how much money we're paying to CRA or IRS? We're paying too much. Not so many people understand that. A lot of us have kids. Many more are going to bring children into this world. How do we begin to plan for the future? Because elementary and high school are free, a lot of parents don't remember that their kids will need to go to university or
college.
so they don't plan for it. So we need to put people in conscious behavior of, yes, you are getting it free right now. There will be a time in the future where you have to pay for it. How can we begin to put aside money for that? Understanding what tuition or all this kind of stuff are things that we teach people. Then retirement will come at some point in time in the future. Do we understand what sort of social security we have, like CPP, OAS, or GIS? How much of it is available? When should we claim it? And how do we claim it? What if we get sick in our old age? What about medical expenses, or what sort of Medicare would we need? Even the income that we're building into that time, how does retirement income get affected by taxes? These are the things that I want to be able to talk to people about with our campaign. A lot of people that have gone through this campaign have things to say. I'm not going to waste too much of your time on talking about this, but I want to talk about this guy, Sikanda. I met this guy when we went on a trip together in Spain and Portugal, and I just sat down there. I was listening to him. And you see, this guy said, the workshops changed my mindset and attitude towards money. With the help of Word System Builder, we created a personal strategy and found out that I was way behind in my retirement goals and grossly underprotected. The education and support truly changed my life and saved my family. Now I am proud to say that I'm on my way to building a financial future for myself. So I want to invite a lot of people to be part of the campaign that we run.
I have a question. Like these books, where can we get it?
I can get them for you if you want.
Please, please.
I would mail something to you. I'll put something in the mail for you.
Okay.
Right? These are things that we want people to learn about. We have financial centers across the entire of North America. My office in Oakville, one of the financial centers that I run, and I'm trying to see how I can increase the number of financial centers that we can run with people. There are over 300 financial centers, both in Canada and in the US, where people basically come into the office to learn about all of these things. But more importantly now, we're doing it on Zoom. So even if you can't drive into any of the financial centers, you can also join the Zooms and learn about all of these things. Just like I showed you in that calendar that I showed you earlier, these are the topics that we talk to people about. These are things that I want people in our community to know. We have a larger community of people that were doing this together. So it's not about me alone. It's a lot of people. The reason why I'm more biased to our people is when I look at this 80,000 plus community, I don't see so many people that look like me. And that thing bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
It bothers me a lot because I remember we went to one function in California in February, and I invited one of my classmates from, back home in Nigeria. We went to university together. And this lady said to me, BC, I don't understand. Is it that there are no Black people that are doing this thing that you people are doing? Why is that I cannot see any? I'm like, I'm trying. I know how many Black people that I saw here when I first came here, and I see the amount of information, knowledge, and empowerment that is going on here. So as many as possible, I'm trying to, pass on the information and drag people into it. How do we do this in terms of educating people? People have invited us into their homes. We've invited people into our homes to talk to them about financial education, using public places like libraries and stuff like that, schools and colleges. I mean, can you see the name of the school here? Can you see this?
Yeah. Harvard Law.
Harvard Law School. Somebody in Harvard Law says, you know what, you guys need to come and talk to us about all of these things that you're talking about. And when they went there to talk about it, one of the professors, this woman that is standing here, she's a professor of Harvard Business School. She teaches economics. You may just want to Google her later. Her name is Dolly Amaya.
Okay.
she was like, oh, I've never heard about this before. I'm teaching people economics here, but nobody teaches the way you guys are teaching people, because this is for the grassroots. This is for the low-level people who don't have understanding of finances.
Exactly.
Can I be part of what you guys are doing? And I'm like, why not? But I asked her a question. I said, why do you want to be a part of this? He said, it's not for me. It's for my own community. I said, what do you mean? He said, you know, I'm from Colombia. I'm Latino. Many people do not have access to this information in our community. So my job is to take that information back to them. You know what this woman did?
Mm-hmm.
She looked at all of the literatures that we have, just like that book, and they translated into Spanish.
Yeah.
And asked the organization to print their own Spanish version for them, and then begin to teach people in their own local languages.
That's wonderful.
And this is things that I'm seeing with a whole lot of communities. You know, Chinese have their own books now in their own local language. Japanese have their own in their own local language. Vietnamese have their own. The Koreans have their own. But you see, we have so many languages in Africa. But I know the two major ones are English and French.
Yeah.
How can I, you know, I know a lot of our friends in the French community, especially in the US, are talking about how can they translate this. They're doing workshops in French now. But I want to get more people into these things.
Mm-hmm.
Places of worship, like churches, you know, synagogues, temples, and all of that. Small businesses and large corporations, they invite our people to come and talk to their employees around this financial education. This is Oracle here. This is Metro PCS here. And then government agencies. This is the one that really makes me proud the more. I know you probably can't recognize this, but this, you know, look at this part where you have these three people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, can you see my pointer? Do you know what flag this is?
No.
That is the Federal Bureau of Intelligence, FBI flag.
Oh, really?
Yes. So somebody went to FBI, this woman, and said, we want to talk to you people about what we do. And after she gave their director, one of their, you know, state deputy director, gave them the book and all of that, they went and they did a lot of due diligence and all of that. And then they called us and said, okay, we want you guys to come and be teaching this to our academy people every November. They now organize classes every November since 2018. They are teaching them. Wow. That is the thing that gives me the most sense of belonging in all of this. Do you think you or me, can we just walk into FBI and say, I want to teach people about it?
No.
Right? Mm-hmm. But because of this, you know, the amount of background check, vetting, and all of that would have gone into that. And that gives me a lot of pride around what we're doing here. And then you have family and friends and all manner of stuff that are going on here. And then now we're doing this online because of COVID and all of that. But for me, people ask me, BC, is this, I mean, I don't understand. How do you devote your life to be doing this thing? I know you've always been in the charity or humanitarian space for the most part of your life after you left banking. Why are you doing this? How do you feed yourself? How do you take care of your family and all of that? I'm like, so, I mean, it is not a charity. It's like a social enterprise. Mm-hmm. I make money from doing this, right? No doubt. But the point of how I make money is not the education. The education is free for everybody that wants to learn. I only make money when people want to do something for themselves. Mm-hmm. So last 2 years, when COVID struck, we started thinking, we've been giving people financial education. What else can we contribute to people? Financial education is good, but that is only what we can contribute in North America because we're only doing this in Canada and the US at the moment. Yeah. What else can we give people across the entire globe? So we started looking for which charity initiative can we support. So we found this organization that is called Charity Water. They are providing clean water to people across different parts of the world, mostly Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia. Okay. So we formed a partnership with them in June of 2020. Between June of 2020 and end of July 2022, as a group of people, we have contributed over $2.4 million to the charity initiative. Each and every one of us in the group is contributing whatever amount of money that you think you can afford on a monthly basis, just so we can provide clean water for different, organizations or countries. So we're currently in places like Malawi, Liberia, Madagascar, Uganda, we are in Nepal, we are in Colombia, we're also in Bangladesh and Indonesia, just basically planting, wells that it can have access to clean waters where things are really terrible for people to manage. And that gives me a lot of, pride to say that not only are we contributing education to people, we're also helping people. I got an email from this organization, I think about 10 or so, maybe 12 days ago. And then the guy said to me, let me even find the email and read it to you so you understand what I'm saying. Where is that email again? Oh my God, did I delete it? No, I didn't. Yes, I found it. It says, I have some good news for you. You are helping us to serve over 15 million people across the globe. As of June 30th, your support has officially helped us fund grants that will provide clean water, health, education, and hope to 15,477,279 people. That is more than the population of London, Paris, and Los Angeles put together. We just want to say thank you for your support.
Mm-hmm.
But COVID is something that is still, raving and raging different places. So we want to help people to understand how this can help them to build better. And the idea is pretty simple. Many people have been affected with COVID, maybe one way or the other, whether bad or good or something like that. How can we take this message to people? A lot of people are looking for the opportunity to work in a better environment and get things done because people are changing. They don't want to go back to the old ways they used to work. People are looking for a better future of work. Why are people looking for that? People are looking for freedom. I don't want to be tied to a particular job. A lot of people have lost their job. They're looking for flexibility of being able to work on their own terms. People are looking for different lifestyle, a purpose that they can, relate with. And we're saying that life is too short for us to just basically be working for a living. We want people to be part of this platform. Let them first and foremost come and learn for themselves so that they can better themselves financially in terms of education. But there's also the business side that you can be a part of it. Learn how the business can help you to build something for yourself. Many people in our community need to be able to have access to all of this information. We want to be able to help people to become financially independent. We want many people to be able to, make money and be able to pay off their debt and then build a strong financial foundation for themselves. The truth is, we as an organization, we believe that people cannot be said to be free until they become financially free. So here's the thing, Sandra. If we continue to live the way we are currently living as a group of people, as a community of people, what are the choices that we have in the future? So we have to change the way we think about the things that we do right now so that we can change our future. How do we save our future? First, by increasing our knowledge and understand how we can make money work better for ourselves by making even more money. How can we build a better future for ourselves? Like somebody like me, I started doing a business off this and building somewhere. More importantly, how can we be part of something that is bigger than every one of us, sharing the knowledge and the understanding, building across the US and Canada, helping our people to get better, and more importantly, making a difference in the life of so many other people. How can we build great families, create legacy, and help the less fortunate to be able to get better? We have an organization that says we know for a fact that we're going to reach 30 million people, even though we're far away from 30 million people right now. We're also far away from zero when we started about 5 years ago. 2 million people is not a joke, but it's not a lot compared to the 30 million that we want to be. So we're looking for how we can get more people to get away from debt. We want to be able to help people to fight debt by helping them with the understanding of how they can get out of debt. We want to help people to understand financial insecurity and fight it so that they can become financially secure. We want people to understand financial literacy by educating them so that we can help them to become financially literate. That is what I want to share with people. And I want to understand, how do you think this can work for our people. We have a survey card that we usually use to help people, just to understand where people are. And this is the kind of information that survey really helps us. Do we have people in our community that are concerned about paying too much bills, or they have so many debts that they are worrying around? And my answer is yes. I know a lot of people. Do we have people in our community that don't have savings or investment towards their retirement?
Yes.
Yes. Do we have people that lack preparation for their children's college education? Yes is the answer. Do we know people who do not understand that they don't have enough protection in case that they become disabled today? Do we have something that they can rely on for the remainder of their life? What if they have long-term illnesses? How are they going to be able to cope? Or even if somebody were to die prematurely, do we have people in our community that they don't have preparation for those? The answer is yes. Do we have people who are supporting children or aging parents or any other dependents? Do we have people who don't feel comfortable? They don't understand financial concepts like how, investment, insurance, debt, inflation, and taxes, how they work. We have so many people in our community like that. How can we help people? By just helping them with financial understanding and financial solutions. That's basically what, I wanted to talk to you about, right? What are your thoughts?
To be honest, this is very, very, very important. Like I remember